Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Raymond Ato. We're coming to you live from Uyode, Akwa State capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. FG plans automotive supplier industrial park in Nnewi, Oshogbo and Igabi. INEC to appeal ruling on temporary voter cards use. Plus, several allegedly shot dead at Jehovah's Witness Center in Hamburg. We will bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks indeed for staying tuned. We begin this afternoon with a report that the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, has disclosed that the federal government, in an effort to unlock the opportunities in the automotive sector, as well as potentials in the manufacturing industry in Nigeria, will soon unveil the state-of-the-art automotive supplier industrial park ASIP in Kaduna State. NASENI, in a statement signed by its Chief Information Officer, Obiora Chinyere, disclosed that the federal government had planned to develop industrial parks for the automotive sector in 3 zones of the country: Nnewi, Anambra State, Oshogbo in Osun State, and Igabi in Kaduna State. The automotive supplier industrial park is in line with the agency's mandate of primary and intermediate capital products required for machine and equipment design, fabrication, and mass production to provide the enabling environments for sustainable industrialization of the country. The Managing Director and Chief Executive of Hydraulic Equipment Development Institute, HEDI, in Kano, said the project is intended to unlock opportunities in the auto sector, as well as potentials in the manufacturing industry to create employment and skilled labor in the region and sub-Saharan Africa, as well as save the country's foreign exchange spent on importing vehicles and spare parts. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it will appeal the court's judgment that asked the Commission to accept the use of the temporary voters card TVC in the gubernatorial and House of Assembly election. In a tweet via its verified handle, INEC said it has been served a copy of the judgment delivered by the Federal High Court Abuja Division, which ordered it to allow 2 plaintiffs to vote with their temporary voter card TVC. Recall that the Federal High Court in Abuja had ordered INEC to allow the plaintiff use the TVC in the March 18 governorship and House of Assembly election. Meanwhile, the Labour Party has criticized the Independent National Electoral Commission, saying the electoral umpire deliberately came up with its idea of reconfiguring the bimodal voter accreditation system machines after its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, sought to examine the election materials. But this was as the party faulted the Commission's claim of backing up the data retrieved from the BVAS without the presence of independent witnesses and representatives of political parties. Recall that the court had, in a 3-member panel of justices, dismissed objection by the Labour Party and held that preventing the electoral umpire from reconfiguring the BVAS would adversely affect the forthcoming governorship and state assembly elections. Well, staying with electoral matters, the Vice-Chancellor, Lagos State University, Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, has said that students will be allowed to cast their votes at the polling unit of the institution's premises. Now, according to a statement shared on the university's Twitter handle, Olatunji Bello announced March 21 as resumption date for academic activities in the university, noting that examinations will continue on March 22nd. She reaffirmed that other activities of the university should continue to run, with particular reference to the provision of skeletal services by staff and other essential services by the university. And students who have registered for their permanent voter cards and have their polling unit at the open space at the Lasso Gate should be allowed to exercise their franchise. In a separate development, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC in Rivers State, has said its operatives uncovered an illegal local refinery at the Otamiri Eche in the Eche local government area of the state. The Corps said the discovery was made possible following the sustained intelligence of its operatives. Commandant of the NSCDC in Rivers State, Michael Oga, disclosed this while speaking with newsmen in Port Harcourt. Oga said the agency had a clear mandate to safeguard critical national assets and infrastructure across the Federation, noting that it will ensure that the illegal dealings in petroleum products is reduced drastically in order to boost the nation's economy. Now, in an update from yesterday's sad event, 6 people have been confirmed dead by emergency responders and over 82 persons injured in Ikeja as a moving train rammed into a state bus conveying civil servants to work. State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who visited the hospitals, said 2 persons died at the scene of the accident, while four were at the hospital. It said 85 passengers were involved in all, with 42 moderate injuries, 29 serious injuries, while 8 have mild injuries. To Africa now, a group of African soldiers have been selected to participate in an annual U.S. military-led counter-terrorism exercise. The Flintlock 2023 drills, a 2-week training, are being staged in Ghana and Ivory Coast. U.S. Major DeMarco explained that the benefits of the training to Ghana and its neighboring countries is not only for maritime security operations, but it also fosters the interoperability and collective security of African nations. Meanwhile, the training will run until March 15, with 29 nations and over 1,000 personnel participating in the Flintlock 2023.
Ghana and its neighboring countries from this specific training is it not only prepares our African partner nations for maritime security operations, but it also fosters the interoperability and collective security that we're trying to aim for with Exercise Flintlock.
I've been cooperating for many years with countries like Ghana. We are contributing to face common challenges like terrorism, piracy, and at the same time building local capacities. We believe that these are activities for mutual benefit of both parties. We're cooperating with our partners like Ghana.
Well, staying with Africa, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says he is concerned about the ongoing wage strike by public workers that is affecting essential services in the country. Ramaphosa noted that while workers have a right to strike, acts of violence would not be tolerated. Meanwhile, the Health Minister, Joe Falala, said at least 4 people have died as the workers reportedly prevented patients from entering numerous hospitals and clinics in the country. Recall that a strike by the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, NEHAWU, started on Monday as the workers demanded a 10% pay hike after rejecting the government's 3% increase.
Workers who are in essential services, particularly workers, for instance, who are in the police service, that's an essential service. Workers who perform very, very intricate services in the health sector, like doctors, like nurses, whose absence and whose participation in the strike puts the lives of our people in danger. And so therefore, those workers who perform essential services, in our view, should not be on strike. They have the right to protest. in whatever shape or form, but we should say that we will not allow any form of violence that will lead to people getting injured, people being prevented from performing their tasks, and also where lives can be lost as a result of people being on strike. We call on those who are on strike to continue to put the interests and the lives of our people ahead of everything else. The protests that are underway, yes, are well.
To the foreign scene now, a number of people have been reportedly killed and injured in a shooting at a Jehovah's Witness meeting hall in Germany's northern Hamburg city. According to reports, the gunman is a former member of the religious community, aged between 30 and 40. Meanwhile, the country's police spokesman, Holger Veren, says they found a dead person at the scene who they believe may have been the perpetrator, and investigations are ongoing. Still on the foreign scene, Israeli police said 3 people were shot and wounded in Tel Aviv in an attack carried out by a member of the armed wing of the Palestinian group Hamas. The shooting took place at Dizengoff Avenue, a popular nightlife spot in the center of Tel Aviv, where a Palestinian attack killed 3 people in April 2022. According to Israeli police spokesman Daniel Sduni, the 3 victims of the attack are still alive and undergoing treatment. Still to come in the news. Arsenal draw against Sporting Lisbon in Europa League last 16 first leg. Do stay with us. Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. And now in business, data from the National Bureau of Statistics has shown that Nigeria's crude oil sales rose by 46.41% to push Nigeria's total exports to 26.79 trillion naira in 2022. But this is as the total trade rose by 31.79% from 39.75 trillion naira in 2021 to 52.39 trillion naira in 2022. In 2022, crude oil sales totaled 21.01 or 09 trillion naira, a 46.41% increase from 14.41 trillion naira in 2021. In 2022, crude oil accounted for 78.74% of total exports. According to the data, total exports for 2022 rose by 41.72% from 18.91 trillion naira in 2021 to 26.79 trillion naira as of 2022. Imports also rose by 22.77% from 20.84 trillion naira in 2021 to 25.59 trillion naira in 2022. Now, commenting on the growth of foreign trade, the BVAS said in the fourth quarter of 2022 that Nigeria's total trade stood at 11.72 trillion naira, of which total exports stood at 6.36 trillion naira and total exports amounted to 5.36 trillion naira. Still in business, the federal government has announced the top 5 business efficient and transparent agencies amongst its ministries, departments and agencies (MDAs) for the year 2022. But the government announced this in the 2022 Executive Order 001 Compliance Report, which was released in Abuja by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. Special Advisor to the President, Ease of Doing Business, and PERBEC Secretary Jumoke Oduwole said the report was released in line with PERBEC's promise to continuously track and keep the business community updated on the compliance with the order on transparency and efficiency in the Nigerian business environment. Recall that on May 18, 2017, Executive Order 001 on transparency and efficiency in the business environment was issued as the current administration's first executive order to strengthen the implementation of business climate reforms. It was issued to also deepen collaboration among ministries, departments, and agencies by instituting a systemic change management process for reforms. And now in health, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, MDCN, has advised newly inducted foreign-trained doctors to consider practicing in the country instead of traveling abroad for greener pastures. The MDCN said many of the doctors who have migrated to other countries are currently regretting their actions as they face discrimination. The Registrar of the Council, Dr. Tajuddin Sanusi, stated this during the induction ceremony of 469 medicine graduates and 8 dentistry graduates. Sanusi also cautioned the newly inducted doctors against participating in medical association strikes. Still in health, the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital LASUT in Ikeja has said it received 102 victims of the Public Works Department's train bus crash for treatment. The Chief Medical Director, LASUT, Professor Adetokunbo Fabanwo, who said the experience was overwhelming, narrated his hospital had received 85 victims at once, adding that the institution embarked on open space treatment, also known as triage, which was the world's best practice in mass emergencies. He explained that triage was the option because the hospital only had a 30-bed space at the emergency unit with patients. Fabamwo, in an interview with Newsman, said 6 deaths had been recorded, adding that 6 victims were also operated upon. And now in sports, Arsenal secured a hard-earned draw against Sporting Lisbon in an entertaining Europa League last 16 first-leg tie. France defender William Saliba put the Premier League leaders ahead with a towering header from a corner by Portuguese midfielder Fabio Vieira. But Arsenal's lead lasted just 12 minutes, with Goncalo Inacio nodding home the equalizer after hesitancy from goalkeeper Matt Turner filling a corner by English winger Marcus Edwards. In an absorbing game in the Portuguese capital, Paulino fired Sporting ahead, only for Arsenal to equalise through an own goal by Japan midfielder Hidemasa Morita. Both teams created numerous chances in the free-flowing encounter. Arsenal are chasing a first Premier League title since 2003-2004 season, but coach Mikel Arteta clearly sees the Europa League as something worth winning rather than distraction to the main prize. We're still in sports with 14 days to the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers between Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau. Super Eagles defender William Troost Ekong is in a race to defeat for the clash as he resumes individual training. The Eagles are scheduled to play the Jotrus in a two-legged affair as they bid to book their place at the AFCON in Ivory Coast next year. The first leg holds at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja on March 24, before the Eagles travel to Morocco for the second leg on March 28. The 29-year-old picked up an injury in Salernitana's 1-0 defeat to Hellas Verona last month in the Serie A and was replaced by Norbert Giamber 7 minutes from time after it was confirmed it could not continue with the game. In our entertainment news, Nigerian artist Peruzzi has released his first single of 2023 titled Pressure, on which he features superstar hitmaker Fireboy. Reports say Pressure is a blend of interesting melodies and rhythmic beats that showcase the exceptional vocal range of both artists. Produced by Freeheads, Pressure is a track of Peruzzi's upcoming project known as Sabali. But still on entertainment, Afrobeat international superstar Joeboy has released a video for his latest hit single, Body and Soul, which is one of the singles ahead of his highly anticipated sophomore album. Reports say the official music video, directed by Perlix, paints a picture that brings the soft yet reassuring lyrics of the song to life. And that's all we have for you at this time. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms and do also subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website. Just search spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching the news at 12. Many thanks for joining us. I am Raymond Ita. Good afternoon.